More than 4 billion people live across Asia. And we are telling their stories. In this edition, tens of thousands of bicycles were left behind when bike-sharing companies went bust. But these unwanted bikes found new homes and a new purpose in the outskirts of Yangon. Economic hardship has driven millions of Tajik men abroad in search of jobs. It has led to a cultural shift in conservative Tajikistan.
با اینجا اومدم با شغل اهالی تا که کسب سانتکنیکی رو آموزم برای خودم. برای که سانتکنیک رو جق میزنی نمیباید منتظر میشوی. برای همون میخوام که خودم یاد گیرم که تا که اقلا در خونم کاری همون سانتکنیکی خودم رو خودم کنم که اکانوم شود.
You may recognize these bikes or have even used them. When bike-sharing companies like O-Bike went bankrupt and Ofo and Mobike started withdrawing from major markets like Singapore, they left tens of thousands of these unwanted bikes in their wake. After lying in bicycle graveyards for months, they finally found a home. These brand new unassembled bikes behind me have already clocked up a high carbon footprint, being manufactured in China, first deployed to Singapore, and now ending up in a Yangon warehouse. Hopefully, Myanmar will be their last port of call. These students live within 6 kilometers of their high school in a village on the outskirts of Yangon. While it's not far, their journey to school can take 1 or 2 hours a day. Because they can't afford any form of transport and would have to walk. But thanks to the Let's Walk movement, today they have their own bicycles. The Let's Walk movement is a charitable organization which aims to improve access to education by donating bicycles to students living below the poverty line. The children are little shit and loud, and now out on the Miba, look to put it, John Toya, Lule, Shibare. Jamal, say Macao, no? Tomorrow, I am of your ware, Dilumio, Lucini, to Jamole, Jamaya, John Dare to Bono, Jamaru, John Gida, Pietavo, no, Jamaro, when I Pietaka. The brains behind Let's Walk is this entrepreneur from Myanmar, Mike Tan Tun Wing.
Currently, there's about every 1 student out of 5 students end up dropping out of school in Myanmar. Part of the reason is, of course, access to education, the distance, and we realized that actually many people, they need a bicycle.
Let's Walk is a good example of a third world country solving a first world problem. Although the sharing bicycle economy bubble has burst in big cities around the world, it is here in rural Myanmar these disadvantaged children have come to the rescue. It is true that one man's trash is another man's treasure.
When I started giving the bicycles to the children, firstly, it was astonishment. The children never believed that they are getting this bicycle for free, because this is something very valuable in their standard. It's almost like one month of their wage. Second is, of course, maybe tears of joy, because they now know that they no longer have to walk 2-3 hours to school anymore. They can cycle 30 minutes to school. They have at least 1 hour, 2 hour more time.
In terms of distribution, how do you make sure that no kids are left behind?
We want to really benefit the most vulnerable group. Currently, our selection criteria is actually for students that walk actually 2 hours to school. Second thing is that they cannot have any other vehicles at home. Third, we tend to choose families that are more vulnerable, either for single families or maybe orphans. So these are our main criteria right now. So rather than the students applying directly from us, we actually work with the schools. Lastly, when we give the bicycles, we want their guardian or their parents to sign an undertaking letter of acknowledgement that they won't sell this bicycle away.
The idea to recycle and reuse discarded bikes first came to Mike in 2018.
When old bike from Singapore, they went bankrupt in 2018. I could see a lot of these bicycles being treated very badly. We tried to approach some of the liquidator of old bike company, but the legal red tapes and everything wasn't very easy for me, and I gave up. The idea really started out about 1st of March in 2019. I could see that Mobike and Ofo, they were announcing gradual withdrawal from the global market, right? And when they withdraw from this global market, usually they leave a mess behind.
This time, instead of trying to tackle the red tape, Mike took to social media, asking his friends and followers to help him source and donate 10,000 bicycles. He initially planned to import used bicycles. Then he found a better deal, with warehouse companies storing brand new, unused shared bikes left behind in Singapore and Malaysia.
So they start with the bicycles, and they were very, very eager to dispose this bicycle. So we bought them at $15 US, $10 in shipping, $5 in modification, and another $5 in dispatching locally. They gave us a cost of about $35 to reach the students. This news became a bit viral globally, so we were contacted by warehousing companies in Japan, China, Australia, all around the world right now. So Amsterdam have already donated some bicycles for us for free. The USA have donated some bicycles to us for free. China have donated some bicycles for us for free. So my $35, I'm able to lower to $20 per bicycle. Currently, my way of funding this is actually to get corporate sponsors.
Mike believes his solution is not limited to Myanmar and hopes to inspire like-minded people in other countries to follow suit.
I believe that this problem is not only faced in Myanmar. Many agricultural countries like Cambodia, even Bangladesh, many of these houses, the families, they stay next to their farm because they walk to their farm. But usually schools are a bit far from their farm, from their villages. I've received emails from all around the world. Say, hey Mike, we have the same idea, but we don't know how to do it. So currently we are sharing our experience to helping them, buy these bicycles. One is Cambodia, one is Nepal. We are also looking to help Bangladesh and some other African countries to do that. As developed countries buy more bicycles, they also have used bicycles, right? It's actually upgrading. So there's always a constant increasing supply of used bicycles right now, of very good quality. So we want to connect these developed countries to developing countries where they can donate their used bicycle to students that need them in developing countries. The supply shouldn't be an issue in the long run, and we believe that this program can sustainably run for many years to come.
Mike hopes his movement will push Myanmar towards a better future.
We will definitely improve the country in multiple aspects, economically, socially, politically. Because I'm a tech entrepreneur, I always thought that knowledge is the key thing. If we are able to just do simple things, reducing the dropout rate, having better access to education, just hoping that some of the students that we benefit will carry on their education.
For Simon Asia, I'm Mira Lu in Myanmar.
Up next, how Tajik women are filling the economic gaps in their country.
زندگیشون هست زنایی که وزبین بهشون مثال زنایی هستن مثال که مثال من شوهراشون با مهاجرتی و مهنتی میرن مثال سوم روان نمیکنن و زنها مثال فرزند دارن مثال مکتب میخونن کودکای و یا باید تامین کردن در کار برای مکتب و چی انا خیلی کار میکنن در هر جا مثال شو برای که همون پول یا و یک سوم باشه و همشه خیلی فرزندشون تامین کنن.
پیشکی زندگی ما ناز بود خیلی سوز من 4 کودک تولد کردیم شروع ناز میفهمش ناز بود بعد همین دیگه اینجا هم کار نشد که هم به روسیه رفته ساختمان کردنیم.
خب پیش ای رفتم مثل منم کار میکردم مثل اون کس هم کار میکرد زندگی ما خیلی نرمانی بود مثل یگون وای نداشتیم بعد خب بعدی که من از سلامتی ما گم کردم برای هم مثل سلامتیشون نیست خصوص برای همین وای شدیم مثل خب وضعیت زندگی ما کمتر بهتر کن.
Both Parvina and Gulnara live in a village some 60 kilometers west of the Tajik capital Dushanbe, near the Uzbek border. Like thousands of others, they are bonded by circumstance. Annually, hard economic times in this small Central Asian country of 9 million drives more than 1 million Tajik men abroad in search of better opportunities.
سیرا اونا با مجبور زندگی مجبور میکنن با میرون مثلا معاش کم خودتون میدونم مثلا در تاجیکستان معاش کم ممکن نمیرسونه مثلا سیرا من شرایط وضعی که همه چی قیمت مثلا سیرا اونا پولشون نمیرسد برای همین سیرا با مجبور میشن مهاجرت میرن.
For Gulnara, at first life was good after her husband left.
خب بعدی رفتن خب یا گردیم مثلا من خونه مثلا ریمون کردیم سو خیلی کمتر شرایطی و شرایطمون کمتر ساز شد خستیرم باز کمتر همشه یاردم شد بعد خیلی اوجه که بخواه با از روسیه اومدن و با خیلی در هیچ جو که کار که نمیکنه وضعی زندگی بود سیرم وضعی.
But after 5 years, Gulnara's husband got sick and was deported from Russia for fake documents.
خب بعد از آمدن وای روسیه من ساختمان وای ما همش مثال من خیلی همین هر جا وای با کار میکردم مثال هر طرف مثال منم کارای چیز که مشغول میشم.
Life has been tough for 32-year-old Parvina, whose husband left shortly after the birth of their youngest child. Since then, he's been sending her around $300 a month.
پولش کم خیلی که جبم وای میکند وای میخورد میپوشد کوارتیره میتید ما با همه چنیش کم ما روی میکند همه 5,000 روی میکند خیلی وای با نمیدونم که کی میبیاد چیکار میکند آمدنش هم معلوم نیست ولی کی میبیاد.
Practically every household in this village has lost at least 1 or 2 male members to migration. This common trend seen in villages all across the country is not only changing families, but also long-standing cultural traditions in this largely patriarchal society.
Since the breakup of the former Soviet Union in 1991, migrants have been Tajikistan's prime export and the single largest source of income, says political analyst Rashid Abdullo.
But the formation of new market economy in Tajikistan forced everybody to look for money, to seek money. There is no guaranteed workplaces as it was during the Soviet Union, no guaranteed money, and everybody should depend mainly on itself.
High unemployment and poor salaries have pushed more and more Tajiks to start looking for work abroad. Most head to Russia for its proximity, opportunities, and historical connection.
Even they are very bright. They are ready to be engaged in some unqualified work somewhere because as unqualified worker, he gain much more than here in Tajikistan.
Remittances to Tajikistan peaked in 2013, amounting to nearly half of the country's GDP. But then, the collapse of the Russian ruble a year later meant that less money was available to send back.
The only really strong and confident source of cash money for Tajikistan is migration. Since 2013 and up to date, the amount of money transferred to Tajikistan from Russia, for example, decreased threefold.
According to the World Bank, by 2018, remittances only came up to $2.2 billion or 30% of GDP, compounding the hardships for those left behind. Family abandonment also contributes to the drop in remittances. It is not uncommon for some men to find new wives while abroad, disconnecting altogether from his family back in Tajikistan. Not only are these wives left to bear the loss of income, but also the emotional loss and negative cultural stigma that comes with being a divorcee. Some in Tajikistan's patriarchal society considered abandoned or divorced women as deficient. Even their own families can turn on them, leaving some women struggling to survive. This women's shelter, called the Caravan of Hope, was set up in 2009 to help women who have been abandoned or abused and teach them new skills that will allow them to build economic independence. Many of these women are in hiding for fear of reprisal from their families or society for what some consider defying cultural norms by seeking that independence, so all people involved must remain anonymous.
3 года назад было открыто кафе, специально социальное кафе, потому что мы через это также это была помощь всем женщинам, которые у нас работают, потому что все женщины, которые работают на наших в кафе, это все бывшие наши выпускницы, которые учились на курсах. Также у нас швейное мастерство, там тоже у нас есть здание, где девушки обучаются курсам, и каждые 3 месяца они учатся на этих курсах, и через 3 месяца у нас есть договор с Министерством труда, где девушки получают дипломы, и я знаю, что эти дипломы очень помогают женщинам, потому что когда они идут уже.
Some 30 women graduate from one of their courses every month with empowering new skills.
Ну, я думаю, что мы сейчас, я вижу, что много изменений в обществе идет за счет того, что наши женщины какое-то образование получают. Потому что раньше женщины как-то боялись, стеснялись, а вот сейчас они уже сами стремятся к этому, хотят получить какие-то навыки, какие-то знания, потому что менять кругозор, потому что они не только мамы, они еще и жена, чтобы какое-то было общение с мужем, с ребенком, у нее были какие-то знания. Потому что я знаю, что через курсы они не только какой-то навык учат, но они также общаются с друг другом, они общаются с учителями. Там, кроме этого, учителя очень много проводят всяких во время перерыва бесед с этими женщинами. Поэтому я думаю, что их жизнь...
A shortage of men and money has forced an inevitable cultural shift in this conservative nation, where traditional family values view men as the breadwinners and women as caretakers.
زندگیشون هست زنایی که وزبین بهشون مثال زنایی هستن مثال که مثال من شوهراشون با مهاجرتی و مهنتی میرن مثال سوم روان نمیکنن و زنها مثال فرزند دارن مثال مکتب میخونن کودکای و باید تامین کردن در کار برای مکتب و چی انا خیلی کار میکنن در هر جا مثال شو برای که همون پول یوان یک سوم باشه و همشه خیلی فرزندشون تامین کنن.
Yakubova Zarina grew up in Dushanbe and has been driving a taxi in the capital for more than 2 years. It's a job traditionally done by men, but out of necessity, she finds herself one of many women who have taken up the non-traditional role.
Попробовать такси. Первое время было как-то нет, но потом привыкла, а сейчас, знаете, уже свои клиенты. И когда уже люди очень хорошо относятся, я думала, будут, ой, женщина там, например, возмущаться, но нет. Честно, прибыльная работа, свободная работа, независимо ни от кого. Многие удивляются, все знаете вопрос, как женщина говорит, вам не пристают там или еще что-то там, вам не трудно ли, как вы решились? Сразу первый вопрос, муж вам разрешил?
Yakubova's husband divorced her after he left to work abroad, leaving her with their 4 children.
Не умирать ведь, дома сидеть, тебя никто не накормит. Правильно? Детей никто надо, детей на ноги ставить. Отец не делает, мать.
While she does face some opposition, Yakubova says female taxi drivers are becoming more socially acceptable, in the capital at least.
Некоторые мужчины отрицательно относятся, говорят, да я не сяду с женщиной. Я боюсь, как она может водить эту машину, вообще есть ли страховка. Потом садятся, в принципе, я не заставляю, если хотят садятся, нет. Бывает такое. Но это самое, скажем, из 101%. А остальное нет, вроде всем нравится. И они говорят, больше бы, да, вот женщин.
There is an increasing demand for women to take up jobs abandoned by migrating men. More market stalls are run by women. Women outnumber men in the fields. Even vocational training centers are seeing a growing number of female enrollment.
با اینجا اومدم با شغل اهالی تا که کسب سانتخنیکی رو آموزم برای خودم. برای که سانتخنیک رو جق میزنی نمیباید منتظر میشوی. برای همون میخواهم که خودم یاد گیرم که تا که اقلان در خونم کاری همون سانتخنیکی خودم رو خودم کنم که اکانوم شود.
The government has managed to substantially reduce poverty over the last decade, but the facts remain that more than 32% of Tajiks still live below the poverty line, and the country remains the poorest of all 15 former Soviet republics.
The government tried to launch as much as possible of different kind of economical projects and attract money from outside in order to create new job places. But I see that it's not so easy job to ensure real job places with really good, attractive salary to keep as much as possible people in working age in the republic itself.
Many analysts point to the growing population, stubborn corruption, and security issues in neighboring countries as the main challengers to the creation of well-paying jobs. But unless that improves, the country's migration trend is not likely to change, forcing the women left behind to shape the future of their country. Natalie Carney, CGTN, Tajikistan.
Follow us on social media to contribute story ideas and share your thoughts.